Okay, now, if you want to pick up the slides, you can pick them up at wealthyplr.net/members/training. My name is Charles Harper, and I am the product manager for WealthyPLR. You probably recognize my voice, or you have been on a webinar with me. So regardless, I'm glad to have you here, and good to see everyone here. We are going to be talking about tonight niche marketing in the package that you have. We're going to be talking about some internet marketing in general. Some of you all have expressed the wanting to get over being overwhelmed, and I'm going to try to help you with some of that here this evening. Now, in particular, we want to talk in particular in this webinar how to profit with this niche marketing PLR package. And most of you already know that you should be building a list. How many of you all so far would you say that at the very least, even if you haven't started in earnest, but you are confident that you know what you need to do to start building a list? Now, if you don't, just say that. That's fine, right? If you know what to do, just put a Y in the question box. And if you don't know what to do, you don't know where to get started, put it in there, which is fine. Even if you haven't done that yet, just tell me, let you know where you are, which is fine. Yeah, it's about half and half. Some folks feel confident that they know what to do, and other folks don't quite know exactly if they're confident. So that's fine. Okay, so when you start building a list, okay, so I know that I'm preaching to the choir right now. You know that making sales is a numbers game, right? So this is not rocket science to you. You know that the bigger that your mailing list gets, right, that when you send an email, the more likely you are going to make sales. So you've got to continually bring people onto your list, because you know the more people you get on there, the more sales you are going to make. Now, the thing that is particularly good about the package that you have is that this topic, right, this topic is evergreen. It's one that every newbie in internet marketing is struggling with. And I can tell you from having talked to my friends and even other people who are in the industry, and probably you have heard this too if you're involved in Skype groups, even advanced marketers struggle with where to find the right market to start selling products and services. Now, if your objective, right, if your objective is not just the short term, not just the short term money, which is fine, right? If you're sort of in it and you've got it and you want to make a quick score, that's fine, and it's a viable strategy. If your objective is to build a business, though, this content is the perfect starting place. I'm going to be talking about how you're going to be doing that on this call. Now, I'm going to show you how to use each component to build into your business to get more subscribers and then make more sales. Okay, so now here is sort of where you want, what you want to be aware of about your customers and about even about us. Now, most of us, right? Most of us do what I call buy the iceberg without knowing it. Now, what it is about an iceberg, and I don't want to be cute with an analogy or anything like that with you tonight, but here's what I mean by that. When you buy an information product, and most people will not acknowledge this to you, but I'm going to tell you the truth about this. One of the reasons why it's hard to take an information product where you are taught how to do something and then make the leap and then make it make money for you, right? How many of you all, let me just ask you a question and be real with me. How many of you have had the experience where you will buy a product that teaches you something, but it's hard to then take that same concept that you've been taught, even if you go step by step in what you've been taught, to make it make money? How many of you all have had that experience? I know I have. If you've had that experience, I want you to put the number 2 in the question box. If that has been your experience. So you get taught something, right? You're shown how to do it. You follow it step by step, paint by numbers, and yet still it doesn't necessarily profit for you, and it doesn't turn into cash for you. The reason is because of the very topic that we're talking about, I'm going to talk to you about tonight. It is about buying the iceberg. Now, the thing about an iceberg is this. An iceberg is mostly below the surface. So when you hit an iceberg and you see the ice on the surface, you're only seeing 70% of what's really there. And so typically, when you buy an information product, you are getting the whole story on how to do it. But what happens is you don't get what the person is who put the product together. And typically, that person, what it took to become that person, is really the key to making the product work. And so that is what I want to kind of lead into when you talk about niche marketing. What do I mean by that? In other words, when you buy a product, let's say on CPA marketing, right? On CPA marketing, typically, when you talk to the person that put the product together, they typically have had some experience that helps them in a way to be able to do CPA marketing in a way that you don't typically have. It's not that the steps don't work. The steps are true, but it is what the person became in order to be good at CPA marketing that is below the surface, right? It is the iceberg that is below the water. And so what you buy when you buy an information product that teaches you something, typically you are buying the iceberg. There is something that that person is that you have to become in order to make it work as well as them. That is really and truly why some information products don't necessarily work, not because you're not diligent, not because the concept doesn't work, not because internet marketing doesn't work, and not because what they're teaching you isn't true. It is because what they bring to the table, you and I don't have. If that makes sense to you, put a 1 in the question box. If you get that, when I put that, when you understand that, in terms of buying the iceberg, put a 1 in the question box. So I want you to understand tonight that it's not you. You are not the problem. It is not that the concept doesn't work. It is because when that person teaches you something, typically what they bring to the table is the thing, the magic bean that makes it work. Now, what does that mean? When you are in a competitive niche in internet marketing, and I don't care if you are doing the make money online niche, I don't care if you are in the weight loss niche, I don't care if you are in the personal development niche, it is the same thing. What you see and hear and taught is what matters. So you will see and you will get the concept, but there's more to it. What separates you from your competition is what I call under the water and what can't be seen. Now, let me ask you a question. Those of you who are in, now, just let me know off the top, how many of you all are in, just tell me what niche you're in. If you are really and focused in the make money online niche, type in MMO. If you are focused in the weight loss niche, put WL. If you are focused in the health niche, just put an H in there. If you're focused in the in another niche, put O. Okay, so if you are focused, right, when you are in a competitive niche, and any niche that's going to make you money, I'm telling you this, not just because, listen, let me tell you this up front. Now, if you've been on a webinar with me, I'm not setting you up for selling you something, so you can relax. So everything I'm telling you tonight, I'm telling you the truth. So when you get on a webinar with me, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you what works. I'm going to tell you what it takes. I'm not trying to set you up to sell you something. Okay, so you can relax with that in this webinar. Now, the thing that is going to separate you and make your content, make your products, make your opt-ins more appealing is going to be the time you spend reading and understanding the niche. Now, again, that is just the truth. And I'm not talking about reading blogs. I'm not talking about buying more information products. I'm talking about the time you spend understanding and reading in the niche is what will give you the stuff that goes underneath the iceberg for you, underneath the water. Now, how much time do you spend at webinars and conferences, hangouts, and conferences in understanding the niche? If you're going to be focused on make money online and you're going to be focused on CPA marketing, How much time do you spend reading and understanding advertising, reading and understanding human psychology, reading and understanding what makes a good campaign in CPA marketing? You have got to spend the time in a niche before you start producing content that people are going to listen to. It is not just a matter of taking what someone else did, taking their work, plopping it up, and then thinking that all the copy is going to do the work for you. You have got to be the one to attract the people into your marketing funnel, and the way that you do that is you must have the knowledge. If you understand what I'm saying, put the number 3 in the question box. Yes, it is the truth. It is the truth. Now, I know that might not be pleasant to hear, right? Because I know that the prevailing thought is that all you've got to do is put something up and it'll work for you. Now, that's part of the process, and that's part of what you do when you buy PLR. But I'm going to tell you the secret to PLR on this call. Now, how much time do you spend understanding what the experts do in your niche? Now, understand something. I'm not talking about what the experts will sell you. I'm talking about what the experts do, right? Now, you can learn a lot more from watching an expert in what they do. Now, when you get an email, every sales email that you get, you should be filing it away on your hard drive so that you have a file of email so that you know what works. Not all the time so you can buy something. You spend the time understanding the experts and what they do. You watch what they do. Now, you don't always do what they say, right? You don't need to always do what the experts say depending on what niche you're in. You need to understand what the experts are doing and what makes them money. If you don't spend time watching the experts, seeing what they do, then you probably don't understand the niche well enough to be able to say you're going to make money. Now, here's the thing. Everything that I'm telling you on this call, everything that I'm telling you right now on this call, you need to take this and you need to teach this to the people who are coming into your marketing funnel. Understand me. Now, here's what you're going to do with this, what you're going to do with this webinar content, right? You need to break down what I am saying, and you need to break it into articles, break it into podcasts, break it into PowerPoint presentations, and everything I'm teaching you right now, folks, you need to teach your website visitors, because it is the truth about internet marketing, especially if you're involved in the make money online niche, right? That is the power of this webinar. You teach what I'm teaching you. You have the rights to this webinar. You have the rights to use it. That was part of the bonus that you got by buying this product. And really and truly, it takes the value of what you bought way up there, because you can now take this content to attract people to your sales page. Okay, now, there is no substitute, and this is the truth. There is no substitute for expertise in a niche. I'm telling you that the more competitive the niche is, the more your expertise is going to matter to make you more money. It's just, I'm going to tell you, it's just the honest to God truth. You cannot substitute for expertise. If you don't have expertise in something, the time that you spend getting it is going to matter in terms of how much money it's going to make you in a particular niche. If you're going to be involved in weight loss, you need to be an expert in weight loss. If you're going to attract people and sell information products in niche marketing, you need to be an expert in niche marketing. Right now, here's what I'm going to say. Now, I'm going to tell you about my own journey. Right now, those of you who know me personally, you know that before I got together with the folks at WealthyPLR, I sold small business products to offline marketers. Now, how many of you all knew that? You've been on the call with me, or you know me personally. Yes, some of you all know that already. That I sold. Now, my business was to sell offline marketers products. Here's why that matters. I'm going to tell you why this matters, because some people will tell you that none of this matters. I'm going to tell you that it does. Here's what matters. Now, I have a competitive advantage in this niche. Okay, and I can start back in this niche, the offline marketing niche, anytime I want. Why is that? Because I have a competitive advantage and a head start. I want you to hear me on this because I don't want you to miss this, and I want you to stick with me until the end of this slide at the very least. I have an MBA and an undergrad in business. I understand it doesn't mean I'm going to be successful in internet marketing, but when it comes to constructing solid information products for consultants to buy and sell to their small business customers, it matters. Because I can put something together faster and quicker, and I can evaluate quality faster than most because I've had that background. Second, I worked in small business as a commercial banker. Does that make me successful in internet marketing necessarily? No. Does it matter when I'm creating small business products? Absolutely. I have a competitive advantage. I learned how to do research in a doctoral program. Does that matter? Does that make me successful in internet marketing? No. Does it matter when I put together small business products? Absolutely it does. I've been using Camtasia Studio for 10 years, right? So does that matter? Does that make me more successful? No. Does it matter when I put my products together? It sure does. I taught college, adults at the college level. Now, I'm not bragging about myself. Here was where I want you to focus. It was less about what I'm passionate about, and it's more about the value I bring to a product. Now, here's the question I want to ask you. Where do you have a competitive advantage? So instead of hunting around for the right niche and doing keyword research, listen, folks, I don't have to worry about keyword research when it comes to putting together small business products because I can be better than most people without even trying. Now, here's the question I want to ask you. Before you go looking and hunting around for the right niche, where do you have a competitive advantage? Where do you have the knowledge already? Where do you have the experience already? Where do you have the insight already? Where do you have connections already? When you start thinking about where your niche is and what you can bring to where you can create the most value, this is where you start. Now, if you don't have anything of value to bring to people, yes, then you go the traditional internet marketing route of looking in those places where we taught you about in the course. But here is where you start when you start thinking about, can I produce a product that people are going to buy, and can I compete in a competitive niche? You can compete in a competitive niche because there is an area that you have knowledge in that I don't have. If you're with me and you understand me, put the number 1 in the question box. If you understand what I'm saying when I tell you this. You start by thinking about where you have a competitive advantage. There is something right now, every one of you on this call, that you know better than I do because of who you are and where you've been, right? And I'm not talking about working in the area that you're passionate about. Where can you provide the most value? Where do you provide the most value? And you need to think about this when you get off of this call. Start thinking about where you provide information to people and it helps them. Where you provide information to people and it profits them. Because that is an insight, it is a clue where you can compete in a niche. Okay, now, how many of you all have heard of the book? You might have been on a call with me before, and you might have heard me talk about this book, and I will always talk about it. How many of you all have ever heard of the book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell? If you've heard of that book, I want you to put a 2 in the question box. Okay, excellent. And for those of you all who have heard of the book, as well as the book So Good They Can't Ignore You, what does Malcolm Gladwell say? What is the key number in that book? Right? The key number is 10,000, right? And what does that 10,000 represent? Does anybody remember? Can you tell me? Okay, just write it right there into the question box. That 10,000, what does that represent in Malcolm Gladwell's book Outliers? What does 10,000 represent? Anybody, just write it right in there. It means that, yes, Diana, yes, Deb, it means that you need to have 10,000 hours of practice before you can be considered an expert well enough to start teaching. And when you begin to practice at that level, at 10,000 hours in a niche, do you think, now again, do you think there will be any question as to who the authority is? Now, I don't know how old you all are. I don't know anybody's age. I don't know anything like that. What I'll tell you is this. If you have 10,000 hours in an area, if you have put in the time and you understand the nuances and all the little things, you are an expert well enough to teach someone. And your information is going to be far above anything else that anybody can bring to the niche. Now, here's what those two books basically said. Here, look, successful people in every niche spend time learning things that no one else wants to learn. So start with a niche where you are learning the things that nobody else wants to learn. Okay, it's not a matter of finding your passion. That is not always the way to find your niche. I know that is what is said in internet marketing. It's not necessarily the truth. Find your passion or follow your passion many times is bad advice, because not only does your passion not always pay, number two, sometimes you suck at your passion. It's just the truth. So what Outliers basically said was successful people in every niche spend time learning the things that no one else to learn. They do things that other people don't have time to do. They are out of sight for a long time. So look, don't expect, someone on the call said, well, you know what? It's been 4 years and all I've earned in 2000 is $2,000. You are in the right place, I guarantee you. No one comes up and jumps and becomes an overnight success in internet marketing or anything else if they're going to make solid money. The hockey stick is typical of successful people, and I'll tell you what that means in a minute. Now, here's the key to passion in the whole deal, and I'm going to get into internet marketing in a minute. Now, successful people find a way to learn to love what they're good at. So start with what you are good at. Start with where you provide the most value and learn to love it. And that is where you create the information that's going to help people, and then that's what's going to give you the competitive edge in a niche, right? I don't have to work at being competitive in the offline niche. I can get in that niche anytime I want, not because I need a strategy. It's because I have the background. I have my 10,000 hours in that area. So let me ask you a question, and I want you to answer it if you can. And I want you to think about this, and I'm going to take a few seconds. Now, I want you to think about this. What problem, right? What problem right now? I want you to think about it and write the answer in here. What problem can you solve, right? If I were to call you, right, with a problem, what problem can you solve urgently that people have? What knowledge, are you a plumber? Are you an engineer? What problem can you solve? Write it right in here. Right? Can you solve parenting problems? Can you solve weight loss problems? Can you solve a particular aspect of weight loss surgery? Have you been through some kind of grief counseling? What problem? I want you to write it right here in the box. Think about it. What problem can you urgently solve? One person on the call knows elementary education problems. Do you think that there are teachers, right, that there are teachers who need help learning how to deal with these kids, right? Do you think that there are teachers who need to understand how to go into a classroom and deal with kids? Absolutely. Dana, I shouldn't say your name, understands book writing. Do you think that there is a niche for people who know how to show people how to write books today? Absolutely. Computer problems, photography. Do you think that there are people who need help in those areas? Giving care to elderly. I can tell you for a fact That is a booming area. Now, I don't know how old you old folks are on this call, but in case you didn't know that, here in the United States, the boomers are starting to try to figure out what to do with their parents. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to give care to their elderly. Right now, do you think that that's a niche? It absolutely is. Weight loss, right? Oh, wow. How you can defend yourself. Good gracious. Now, again, everything that you've named, everything that I've named, there are people who want to know how to do these things. You need to start with where you have a competitive advantage. Where do you provide the most value? And where have you spent your 10,000 hours? Now, and here's the key to this. Now, value, when you can provide value, guess what you can do? Charge more. When you don't have expertise and you can't bring value, you can't charge as much. If someone were to come and ask me to write their book, I'm going to charge them. I don't care what they're charging on what is it, Elance. I don't care about that. You know why? Because I know when I get done writing your small business book, it's going to be fantastic because of my insight. So I'm not even going to look at you below $3,000 or $4,000 for a very short manuscript. I can afford to do that. Now, there is an area that you can afford to do that based on your expertise. Now, when you have margin, right, you can do what you love and find your passion. So now, so the question is, you know, how do you spend those 10,000 hours? And when you start talking about being an expert in a niche, what are you doing to be known as an expert? So some of you have expressed being an expert in doing niche marketing. What are you doing to be known in your niche as an expert? Okay, do you have articles? How many of you all have articles, right, written in the niche where you're an expert? Okay, if you don't, that's okay. You can start doing it after the call. How many of you all have articles out there? Whether or not they're in easy, I don't care where they are. As long as you have them written and they're out there someplace, right? So maybe they're not in a published magazine or anything, but they're out there. How many of you all have books that you have written in your area of expertise, right? If you are going to be known as an expert and you don't have a book written, listen, this is how you gain the credibility in the niche. And I'm going to talk to you about why that's important. Does your website say that you are an expert? Well, I know a lot of us internet marketers, how many websites do we have? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How many products do we have for sale? Goo gobs of them. We got websites and products for sale in every niche, and we got one product. We sold 2 copies of this and 5 copies of this and 3 copies of that thing and 1 of this and this affiliate product, but nothing that says we are an expert in the niche. Does your website say that you are an expert in the niche? You say you're an expert in making money online. Does your website say that to me? Right? Does your website say that you're an expert? Do you teach on webinars? And now listen, and I covered this in my last webinar, and I know some of you are going to say to me, well, Charles, listen, I don't like being in front of people, and I don't want to be on a webinar, and I want to make money sitting behind my computer, and I just want to get traffic to good offers. Okay, cool, fine. If you want to chase traffic, how many of you all know you can't chase traffic for the next 20 years? I'm just being real with you. You can't chase traffic for the next 20 years. At some point, you have to decide where you are going to be an expert so that you can start, listen carefully. You need to start doing something right now in your business to set it up so that people come to you. You cannot chase business for the next 20, 25, 30 years. Hear me on that. Okay, and again, now I guess I could have not said that and tried to set you up to try to sell you something. I'm telling you the truth. Okay, one of the things that both John, myself, and Venkata, one of the reasons why we produce PLR is because we believe that those are the assets you can use in your business. Okay, that is why we put them together in the way that we do. Now, if you're not teaching on a webinar, I'm telling you, as competitive as things are these days, you're not an expert. Okay? If you want traffic to come to you in your niche, and you're not teaching on a webinar or a hangout or someplace, you're not an expert. You don't have articles, you're not an expert. You don't have books, you're not an expert. If you don't have a website, you're not an expert. If you don't have webinars, you're not an expert. And you're going to have to chase the traffic. So that means you're going to have to do SEO, you're going to have to do social media, and you have to do that stuff forever until you decide where you're going to be an expert so that people can come to you. Now, I know that's uncomfortable for some of you, okay, but how many of you all know that that's real? If you know what I'm saying is real, put a 2 in the question box. Yes, it is. It's the truth. Okay, now, do you teach on Hangouts? Do you teach in your local area? No, I don't want to teach in my local area. That's why I'm an internet marketer. Folks, I said this on my webinar last week. If you are not teaching something in your local area and you're not selling information products in your local area, and you are not the expert in internet marketing in your local area, I'm not talking about being consultant, right? I'm not talking about being consultant. If you're not teaching people how to make money online within 5 miles of your home, wherever you live, you are leaving a substantial amount of money on the table. You are slugging it out in niches. You're slugging it out in niches where they're nothing but sharks in the water, right? There is a niche I can almost guarantee you, I could come to your town, meet you, set up a webinar, or set up a place where you to teach internet marketing and how to teach people make money online, and you'll sell more information products than you'll sell in weeks online. Right? Because, again, you have a niche already built in. Now, again, I talked about that last week. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that, but if you're not doing anything in your local area, you're leaving money on the table. Okay, now, do you talk to and interview experts in your niche? Okay, if you're not talking to or working with or interviewing or something with experts in your niche, you will not be known as the expert. Now, once again, excuse me, here's what you're going to do with this content I'm telling you. Everything I'm telling you on this call, this is what you need to tell the people that you're trying to get into your marketing funnel, right? So when I'm telling you to become an expert in the niche, this is what you teach people so that they become attracted and they listen to you because you're telling them the truth. Okay, now, I'm going to run through this, and I wanted to do it last week, but I'm going to run through it real quick. Now this is going to be, and you need to, if you don't want to get the slides, write this down. Now, these 7 things, these are the 7 keys to marketing anything. These 7 things I'm about to tell you about, you probably already know them, but these 7 things must work in a system for you to maximize your income. Okay? These 7 things, I don't care who you are, what you're marketing, if you have these 7 things working for you simultaneously in a system, you are maximizing your income. Here's where we go. Number 1, unique selling proposition. In other words, you got to have something that says, why should I buy from you and not everybody else? Number 2, exponential marketing. In other words, this is why funnels are so big. How many of y'all have been noticed everybody's talking about funnels? Funnels, 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 funnels. Because it's the truth. It's exponential marketing. In other words, you need to sell to the people who already have their wallet open. Right? That's when you present them with more value. When someone is already buying from you, you need to present more value to them. Now, just don't slap something up there and sell them any old thing, but put something there that has related value, upsells and cross-sells. If you're not doing that and you're not set up to do that, you're not ready to make money. Okay, you're not marketing. That's just the truth. So you say you got a sales page up, wonderful. But if you don't have something in place to do upsells and cross sells, you are not marketing, you're not in business, and you're not respecting your business. Database marketing, which is building a list. Okay, joint ventures, right? Joint ventures and strategic alliances. 5, media, and I'm going to talk about that. I know you say, well, you know, I'm an internet marketer. I'm not worried about TV, radio, and newspapers. Once again, here's what I'm going to tell you again. You are missing a golden opportunity. And I don't have time to get into it on this call, but you are missing an opportunity if you don't know how to leverage media for your internet marketing business or for your customers. 2, PR and community service. I'm going to touch on this in another slide. Public relations, and I'm not talking about press releases. Now, I know that that's the extent of PR and internet marketing, but PR is so much more, and when you understand it and how easy it is and how to bring people to your business without trying, you will start to profit in your business and community service. Now, and then the internet stuff. Now, those of you who are familiar with Jay Abraham, these are his 7 things. Those of you who are familiar with hidden marketing assets, these are their 7 things. These 7 things are the classic marketing principles that have been in place since the beginning of time, right? They will always be true. They have always been true, and they will always work, right? You must have these 7 things working constantly if you are going to build your business. Now, again, we could probably do an entire webinar, and we're coming out with a product on these 7 principles very soon. So don't worry. I'm going to show you these 7 principles, but this thing, you must master these 7 things in your business, and you must teach the people who are coming into your marketing funnel these 7 things if you are in the make money online niche. Now, the most important thing is unique selling proposition, and it is basically answering this question: why should I come to you and buy and not others? Why should I opt into your list and not others? Why should I give you my email address and not give it to someone else? Now, tell the truth. Can you answer that question right now? Can you answer that question? Why should I come to why should I opt into your list? Because if you can't answer that, this is what you need to start getting ready for to be a niche marketer. You must have something that is unique about what you have to offer that is of value to me, the customer, so that I will opt into your list. The only reason I opt into your list is so that I can do something for me. Listen, as your customer, it's all about me. It's not about you. It's not about what you're doing. When I'm your customer and your prospect, it's all about me. And so what you've got to do is you've got to make it so that I come to opt into your list. I come to buy from you because you've got something that I want that someone else does not have. And that is why I say it is important for you to start in the area where you create the most value. Right? Now, the killer question is this. And I just said this, alluded to this a minute ago. Are you chasing the traffic, or is the traffic chasing you? In other words, do I come to your marketing funnel? Do I come to your page because of what you're offering me? Am I looking for you a second time? Sure, you can make a sale the first time, right? Anyone can get someone to come and buy the first time, but do you have something that I want? Do you have something that's going to make a difference in my life and in my business and in my finances? Do you have something that's going to make a difference in my health that I've got to come to you for that someone else doesn't have? Are you chasing the traffic? Nothing wrong with SEO and social media and all that other stuff. But I'm going to tell you something. You can't do that for the next 20 years. You can't chase traffic and have a business. You are going to lose your mind, and you are going to work 24 hours a day when you are least able to work, if that's the way you want to do business. I'm just telling you. Now, are you chasing the traffic, or is it chasing you? Now, this is where your PLR comes into play. The PLR that you have is an asset to help you build up your presence for people to come to you. When you have an opportunity, okay, from whoever is selling the PLR, to buy relevant upsells, it is a no-brainer. You get them. When you get the opportunity to get extra sales materials, I'm telling you, when you look back and you actually get ready to start marketing and you actually get ready to start building a presence, you will want to have those conveniences so that you can build your marketing funnel. As soon as you get any PLR package, you put it to work. Okay, you block out 2 days to put your PLR to work. What do you need to do? You read it first, right? You read it first. Just go through the PLR, okay? Even if it's not something that you necessarily want to learn, you start by reading it. Then what do? You commit to teach it. Now, why do I not say that you need to learn it and really go through it a second time? Because of this. You will not learn what's necessary. You will not dig in to what you need to understand until you commit to teach it. So I don't care I don't care if you're on a webinar or a hangout and it's you, your mother-in-law, and your dog, right? I don't care if that's the only people on your webinar. Get on a hangout and start teaching. Now, why do I say that? Because that is what experts do. That is why someone will want to come to your marketing funnel and opt into your list. Commit to teach it when you get your PLR. Get examples and case studies. If the PLR does not come with examples and case studies, you go and get your own. And now if you have a question on how to do that, save it till the end. I'll tell you how to go get case studies. Get your own examples and personal case studies. That will make the difference when you put your sales page together and you get ready to sell and you get ready to start asking people to come out to your events. And then you do the product. You do it, right? Do it yourself. And then start sharing your experiences everywhere. That is how you will begin to start getting traffic to chase you. Now, here is how I would use the content that I have in niche marketing. And indeed, I've already done this. Now, you've got videos. How many of you all have the videos? You have the videos. You know where they are. Here's what you do with the videos. You turn your videos into audio. And in most cases, you have the audio. You take your videos and turn it into articles. Now, I don't know how you're going to do this. You can either have the videos transcribed, right? There are lots of sites that will do that. There are people who will do that on Fiverr. Or you can take you can do the transcription yourself just by taking the major ideas that are given to you in each video, right? Each video that is done should be an article that you can turn it into, right? Even if you have to take a video and you go and you get a PLR article and you reformulate it into something that is an article, you take every video and you turn it into audio, you turn it into text, and you turn it into a transcript. That is what I would do with the videos. If everybody is with me on what to do with the videos, right, put a 3 in the question box. If you understand what I'm saying. You take every video and you turn it into text. You turn it into an expert article. Now, when you take a video and you turn it into an article, what you don't do is you don't say exactly what I said, right? If the video states something a certain way, you don't say it exactly the way the video says. You add value to the video. You add value to the content. Now, I think you probably know what I'm going to say about the text. When you get articles, when you get emails, when you get text, you turn it into a video, right? You turn your article into a video. Now, here's what you will do. You set your article into a Microsoft Word document. And all you have to do with that Microsoft Word document, there is a feature in Microsoft Word that allows you to turn that article into an outline. You then take that outline and you take one step and turn it into a PowerPoint presentation. Each line of your outline will be one slide. And what you do is you will then turn that presentation into your Hangout. You will turn that presentation into your SlideShare document. You will take that that presentation and turn it into your webinar. Okay, now, once you have done the webinar, what do? You strip the audio from the webinar and you turn it into an audio podcast. If it is not of sufficient quality, you go back and you take your PowerPoint presentation and you ad-lib into it, and then you create a podcast. If you don't know how to create a podcast and you were not on the call last week, I talked about Blog Talk Radio. It is free. If you don't know what Blog Talk Radio is, go and get a free Blog Talk Radio account and start creating audio content. Is everybody with me? So now here's what you do. Now you then take the sales material and the course and you sell it. Now you don't just put up the sales page, folks. Okay, you don't just put up the sales page and sell it. Now it can do that, but if that's all you're going to do, you're leaving money on the table. And it's not going to sell as fast as if you do one thing. Now, I'm going to tell you the key to PLR. I'm going to tell you the key to making that product sing. It will sell right now as it is out of the box. But if you want to make people buy, here's what you do. You add value to make yours unique. Because here's a question I get all the time. Well, there are going to be 100 other people that have this sales page. There are going to be 100 other people. And so how am I going to make money? I'll tell you exactly how you're going to make money. You add value. You add value to it. Now, you got a niche marketing package. You have just heard me wax eloquent on niche marketing for an hour. How many of you all could take something that I taught you in this webinar and put something together to make your product unique? Everybody can. Here's something else that you can do. You can do interviews on expert niche marketers, with expert niche marketers, or with people who have products on niche marketing. You can interview them and add them to make your product unique. No two people are going to do this the same way. Number two, you can add proof. Where do you get the proof? Does it have to be your proof? No, it does not. It has to be someone who has achieved success in niche marketing. There's a difference between, and hear me, a difference between proof and social proof. Proof means, does niche marketing work? Can you prove it? Yes, you can. You can prove it by finding people who have already been successful by finding a niche. You can also do case studies to make your niche marketing product unique when you put your sales page up, and you can provide social proof. Now, social proof means that these are people whom you have already provided value to. You should start gathering. How many of you are gathering testimonials? Now, if you're not yet, but you like to be, right, put an N in the question box. You haven't yet done it, but you like to be. Put an N in the question box. No, I haven't, but I'm going to start. Okay? Now, how do you get testimonials? You get testimonials by providing value. That's why I'm saying to you, you have to start teaching, guys. You must start teaching. You must start writing fantastic articles. You must start getting dynamic interviews so that someone will come to your page and say, boy, now this person, they really got it. And you get the testimony so that you can put it on your sales page. Now, you don't have to sell product yet, but you can have a testimonial that says, Charles Harper is a knowledgeable person in this area. I would listen to him. Charles Harper has more knowledge on this subject than anybody else I know. How many of you think you can get a testimonial like that if you start teaching? Yes, you can. And of course, you want to add bonuses, right? Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on how you add bonuses, but okay, now, here's how you build a list. You want to build a list by people who value your insight. Okay, that is how you do it. Now, let's talk about the attraction process. Now, when you start trying to attract people into your marketing funnel, don't be afraid to be creative. You don't have to do it exactly the way the internet marketers tell you to do it. You don't have to do it the way I told you to do it. I get a little water here. Now, I'm going to tell you a story. Now, there's a gentleman that I used to be friends with, or that I knew in the offline niche. And here's what he did. Now, he was doing CPA offers. Right now, here's what you're told about CPA offers. Well, you've got to put them, you got to get search traffic, or you've got to get social media traffic, or you've got to get people to come into your list. Now, here's what he did. He made up 200 flyers, and then he went to a trade show. And he went to the trade show, and he hired a kid for $5, and he got people to pass him around these sheets, which led to a website where people could buy this information product. And when people went to that website, when they got home with their sheet, after that day's work, he made $4,600. Now, how many of you all would like to make money in that way? Well, you can, but it takes a little creativity, is what I'm saying to you. So don't be afraid to be creative. There are people, and you've already seen them, when they were doing, and I've been using CPA examples just because, I don't know, they just came to mind today. And all they did was they put those little, I don't know, put these sheets up in a grocery store. And instead of putting a phone number there, they put a website there. And they just keep making money constantly. Once again, it's not a matter of a system. It's a matter of being creative and figuring out where your offer is going to be relevant. You teach on relevant topics, right? We've kind of gone over that. Social media, you're going to use. Search media marketing, you're going to use. The JV process, you're going to use. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about media. Now, most of us, internet marketers, dismiss radio, right? Dismiss it. Now, I don't have time to go over this whole thing, but I want you to hear me on this. Now, here in Harrisburg, in order for me to be on the radio once a week for 30 minutes, right, it would only cost me $300 a month on some stations, and I would have prime time. Now, how do I come up with $300? Right? Let's say I don't have $300. Well, do you think that if I'm going to be talking about small business on my radio program, that there are going to be some people who want to sell to the people who are going to be listening to that show? And so do you think that I would be able to sell sponsorships so that I don't come out of my pocket? Now, I'm just saying that there are lots of creative ways for you to leverage media. Do not dismiss it to attract people into your marketing funnel. PR and personal relations. Now, when you think about personal relations, it's not all about you. Now, I want you to hear me on this. Okay, you lost sound. Can everybody hear me? Okay, can you hear me? Okay, yes. Okay, good. Okay, number one. How many of you all have your own award ceremony? How many of you all have your own awards? Because if you don't have your own awards, you are missing out on an opportunity. Now, you might say, now, I'm not big enough to give the Woman of the Year Award or the Women in Business Award or the Survivor of the Year Award. But what do you think when you give out an award to a Survivor of the Year, what do you think the news does? They cover you because it's not all about you. When you say, hey, you know what, our company is going to be giving the Woman Survivor of the Year Award to this celebrity in our city. Now, you know what that does? That means instead of you sending out a press release saying, my company just figured out how to get more search traffic in a day than you can get to the top of Google. The news doesn't want to cover that. They don't care about that. But when you start to say, hey, this company, experts in search engine marketing, are going to be giving a Woman of the Year award to, and it doesn't matter what the awards are. It doesn't matter what you give out as the award. The award can be a trophy. It doesn't even have to be money. It can be a trophy. Number 2, how many of you all are sponsoring things online or in your local area? Number 3, how many of you all are giving out scholarships? How many of y'all have $100, right? Right now, if you have $100, if you have $100 and you know, well, I can tell you from having 2 kids that are getting ready to be college age, $100 is $100 to a parent that's getting ready to send a kid to college. And if you give out a scholarship award, your company, guess what? If you have an essay contest and a scholarship, PR works. PR works. So when you start attracting people into your marketing funnel, it can be done as long as you're willing to be creative. Now, how do you monetize this PLR? Okay, now the fastest, if you want to do it, is obviously send paid traffic by Facebook or PPV to proven copy. Okay, now that means you might need to have a copywriter write it to your traffic. So if you're going to send traffic from Facebook, you need to tailor it to that traffic and you have a copywriter do it. If you're going to send PPV traffic, that's different traffic. You get a copywriter to do that. You can find a copywriter, folks, for $97 for a sales letter. I'll write it into the research or to the resources, and I'll put it in there. Okay, now you do not necessarily have to market info products as an affiliate to monetize this PLR. The last time I talked about, and I talked about on this call, Udemy, Blog Talk Radio, and local seminars. Now, one thing that you can do to monetize this PLR is basically redeliver it on YouTube. Now, if you're going to be a YouTube creator, right, and that's all you're going to do, it is a patient strategy, but I'm telling you, there are people who are doing it and it works, right? It works. And now, is it going to make you $1 million tomorrow? No. But if you're willing to be patient and you don't have to have the money tomorrow, you can create a YouTube channel that gives solid information that makes money when people click the ads or watch your video, right? It is a strategy, an easy strategy that you can use with this PLR. Now, what I suggest you do is that you use the PLR to attract people and market things as an affiliate to get paid over and over again. Now, I'm not saying that the products on JVZoo and ClickBank and the Warrior Forum are not valuable. They are. But here's what here's the secret. Okay, here's how you get paid over and over again, right? Hosting. How many of you all know newbies need hosting? Okay, if you understand what I'm saying now, put a 1 in the question box. So when you start marketing products and you're monetizing your PLR, it doesn't necessarily mean that you sell the product. It means that you use the product to attract people into your marketing funnel and then sell them what? What they are going to need and what's going to pay you over and over again, year in and year out. Autoresponders will pay you. I just got to, listen, I just got a check from AWeber, and can I just tell you something? I just love getting checks from AWeber. I don't know what it is about that, because it comes all the time. And you know why it comes? Because I chose to I chose to market something, right, that people are going to have to renew month after month, right? So I'm not worried about whether, now hear me on this. And there's nothing wrong with launch marketing, right? There's nothing wrong with mailing out on a launch. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm not worried about that stuff, right? Because people are always going to need autoresponders, and guess what? When you get GetResponse and AWeber, how many of you all cancel it like the month after you get it? None of you. How many of you all who have autoresponders, you keep it for years? So you know what that means? That if somebody comes through my affiliate link and they buy an autoresponder, how long do I get paid? Years. years. That's what's called recurring income. So then I'm not trying to jump people in. Then if I want to do a launch marketing or I want to do a membership site, I don't have to do it for the sake of income. I can do it for the sake of piling on my income. Domains and all the other stuff, keyword tools, business services, accounting, taxes, legal, all the stuff that will pay you over and over again. Now, I've been on about an hour. I don't have time to get into this, but if you can build an audience, right? If you can build an audience, you can get corporate sponsorship, right? If you know your niche, you can get corporations to write you a check instead of you having to market as an affiliate. How many of you would rather get paid a $10,000 check rather than trying to sell $1,009 products? A lot of you. So my point is, there are a lot of ways for you to monetize this PLR. And some of you, of course, are going to flip websites at minimum, right? You should be building a list and marketing your product. Okay, so now, by the end of this call, you should have your hosting and domain set up. You got to have your autoresponder set up to market your product. You got to have follow-up products set up for your funnel. You need to have affiliate products set up to offer. You need to have your payment processor, JVZoo, PayPal, set it up. If you don't have these things, you are not ready to make money. And it's pretty easy to get started. As a matter of fact, one of the things that you know, if you bought instant niche marketing, is that you can get us to set it up for you. Okay? So again, that's the website. If you need to get your product set up, let us do it for you. Now, that being said, I'm going to take questions right now. So any questions? Okay, any questions? Okay, yeah. Corporate sponsorship. Okay, so here's what I'll do. For those of you who want to know more about corporate sponsorship, I have a webinar on my YouTube channel, and I will put it on the, send me an email, and I'll send you my email address, and I will send you, a copy of that webinar. Okay, so that's the, I just sent the email of my assistant. If you want to know about corporate sponsorship, I will send you a copy of a webinar that I did with a lady named Linda Hollander, who is called the Wealthy Bag Lady. And she is an expert that I interviewed on corporate sponsorship. It's a great webinar, and it will give you lots of information on how you can get corporate sponsors. So if that's something that you're interested in, send an email to my assistant. Her name is Lana, L-A-N-A, and I will be happy to send you a copy of that webinar. Okay, any other question? Okay, so if you're having okay, now I will be personally looking at support tonight. Okay, so if you have a support issue, I will be overseeing the team tonight. So go to the priorityhelpdesk.net and put in there for Charles's eyes. Right, and tonight I will be in there. So Norm and Egbert, yeah, just put in something, put in for Charles's eyes at your support ticket, priorityhelpdesk.net, and I will see it. Okay, how do you get examples and case studies? Great question. So let's say that in this particular case, we're talking about niche marketing, right? So, so you need to get case studies of those who have been successful in niche marketing. Now, one of the things that you can do is you can find those who have products for sale in niche marketing. And what you're going to do is you are going to, in return for them giving you an interview, is you are going to market their product, not as an affiliate though, you are going to market their product straight up. They're going to give you the content, and instead of marketing their product as an affiliate, you are going to market their product straight up. Now, the other thing, I want you to write this site down, Deb. Write this site down. Get an account at the website helpareporter.com. Helpareporter.com. That is where you find people that want to be interviewed. And these are people who are experts in all kinds of things, and you will then be able to find an expert who wants to be interviewed in niche marketing. Another site where you can go to is called ProfNet, ProfNet.com, ProfNet.com. Just like Help a Reporter, you will be able to find people that want to be interviewed on a particular subject. Okay, and you will be able to use that in order to find people who have books that are written, to find people who have products that are done, and people who are wanting to make themselves available. The other thing that you can do is a little less reliable, but it still works because I've done it. You can contact people by looking at Amazon. Do a search in your subject matter. Find authors of people who have Kindle books. Why do I say that? Because people who write self-published books are always looking for publicity. They're always looking for an opportunity to talk about their subject. Give them the opportunity to use your content, but you will have their content in your product. And you will have that interview inside of your product, and on your sales page, you will say, you have expert interviews with these individuals. I have done this for products that I have sold in the offline marketing niche, and it does help your product to have credibility. Okay, now, case studies. So how do you get case studies to add to your product? What you are going to do to get case studies, now there are two ways to do them. Now, number one, right, the best thing to do, absolute best thing to do is to go through the process yourself. Now, I realize that's not that's not efficient, but it's just the truth, because your case study and the success you have will be the thing that you will be able to use in future products, and it will sell the best. Now, if you don't have a case study of your own, the easiest way, now, let me give you a little secret. Most of your customers who buy products online, and I'll just tell you this, Deb, they don't read books. Everything that you can find that people will think is brand new, I always say it's hidden in a book. Okay, and you can get case studies of other people. You can borrow those case studies. Make sure you give them the credit. Make sure you tell them where it's found, right, where they can go read about it. But look, you just want the case study. The case study adds the credibility. It doesn't matter that you got it. Just make sure you give credit to the author and who really did the process. The point of a case study is to say that the concept works, right? The case study the case study is not social proof. The case study is proof. So there's a difference. Social proof means it worked for someone you work with. Proof means the concept works. Okay, Debbie, does that make sense to you? Does that make sense? Great. Okay, so that is what I would do for examples and case studies. Okay, next question. Okay, so yeah, okay, so one of the things that you can do in Google to get scientific proof is that you can use a site. Okay, thank you for reminding me, Andrea. It is called scholar.google.com. Scholar.google.com. Now, when you go to scholar.google.com, typically what you want to find is an academic research paper. And you want to find an academic research paper, and you're going to look for those places, and they're going to have edu, right? You want to look for the listings that have edu. Now, what are you going to do with an academic research paper? You are going to look for what those academic research papers tell you about your topic, right? When you find that academic proof, you state exactly what it says. Now, here's how you read an academic research paper without having to be an expert in that field. You start, all you're going to read, now write this down, everyone. If you get an academic research paper, you start by reading the abstract, right? You read the abstract of the scientific paper, of the research paper, of the expert academic paper. In the abstract, they are going to tell you what the conclusion was of their study. They're going to say, we sent out a survey to 7,000 people in the Northeast to ask the question as to whether or not this thing, our research shows that this is our conclusion. You will then take that conclusion and you will use that in your niche research, on your sales pages, in your ebooks. Now, I can almost guarantee you that your competition will not have that, right? Almost guarantee it. You want to find something that makes you unique. Get academic research, or get it out of a book. Most people will not have that. Okay, does that help you, Andrea? Okay, any other questions? Okay, any other questions? Okay, everybody, well, I hope that this has been helpful for you, and that you will get out and get started in your marketing business. Look forward to seeing you on another webinar. And again, I get a lot of fun out of doing this, and hopeful that I will see you again. With that, thank you very much, everybody. Have a great day and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.